let me start with a proper introduction, Aaron.
Yeah.
You and I go back probably about 7 years now to Vima.
Yeah.
We met through network marketing, um, and I just completely lost my train of thought. We met through
Yeah. No, from network marketing and then
we met
just
through network
continue
marketing.
the spiral of business.
We went into Countryside Harvest. We went into, which, we can get into maybe at some point later in this podcast.
Right.
But,
Insert plug.
yeah. Actually, yeah. You move a little bit closer to your mic.
Do you move closer?
Yeah. It sounds like you're a little far away on my side.
Okay. Let me see. How's that?
All right, that's much better.
That's much better? Okay.
Yep. But also, you are in the United States military. You are in the Army. Yeah, man, I will let you introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what got you into the Army, kind of a bit about your background, your motivations towards going in the Army. But I'll let you take it away.
All right, cool. So how's it going, everybody? My name is Aaron Reed. I'm 24 years old, and I am a first lieutenant in the United States Army, currently stationed at Fort Campbell. A little bit about me. I was born and raised in Basking Ridge, New Jersey, went to Ridge High School and graduated, and then did 4 years of ROTC at Virginia Tech with the Virginia Tech Corps of Cadets. I graduated and commissioned in May of 2017 as a second lieutenant, and became a branch qualified infantry officer a year later in March, and I graduated from infantry basic officer leadership course in March of 2018, and then moved to Fort Campbell a few months later. So I've been with the 101st Airborne now for almost 2 years. It was like a year and a half now. And I was asked by James to hop on here today, tell a little bit about my side of working out and fitness, and give my take on health and wellness and fitness. So hopefully I can meet the mark here.
That's crazy. It's been a little over 2 years. It's been that long since you signed your contract?
Well, I signed my contract back.
You signed your junior year, right?
Yeah, so I signed my contract, or I should say I signed my life away in junior year of college back in 2016, and then commissioned in May of 17. And I was still at home because I didn't get a report date yet. My orders didn't say to report until September of 17. And that's when I officially went on active duty. So, yeah.
It feels like forever ago. So let's go back a little bit to, your junior year. Actually, let's take it back even a little further. You went to Virginia Tech. My first two questions are, why Virginia Tech? But was Virginia Tech your college of choice because of the because of the ROTC program? What were kind of like your motivating factors behind choosing that school? Because I know you were so passionate, you were so excited about going there. So just tell us a little bit about that.
So I knew, like, prior to high school, I knew that the military was my route. It always captivated me as a kid. I've had a family member serve in every branch of the military since the First World War. So, I've been exposed to it, I've been around it. And so I knew off the bat the military was going to be where I wanted to end up, most specifically the Army. Had no interest in West Point. I didn't want to go that route. And by the time that I hit my junior year, which is everyone's saying is supposed to be when you're, doing your college visits and starting your applications, I had narrowed it down to Virginia Tech and Norwich, which is a school in Vermont. And a buddy of mine who I had known my freshman year of high school, he was a senior when I was a freshman. He ended up going to Virginia Tech, and he came back to my high school to do recruiting and visit. And he told me about the program. And that's where I learned that Virginia Tech was a senior military school. which means it has a Corps of cadets. So you would live a cadet life and an ROTC life instead of, a regular college life. And then you put on a uniform once a week and do your thing. It was a 24/7 gig. But on top of that, I would still be earning a degree, just like a normal college kid. And in the cadet life, if you had cadet assigned activities, that's what you would do. And then if you weren't, tasked to do anything, or if you didn't have anything going on, then you could be a civilian. You can, throw a Frisbee out in the drill field if you really want to, or, go to duck pond and throw up a hammock and read, which I thought was awesome. So it was kind of like the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
And then Norwich, I also applied there. It was the same thing as a senior military school, but the big drawback for me was it was a very small school, and there was nothing to do on or off campus. There was no off campus. Like, it was in the middle of the mountains. Like, it just was not appealing. And then, if you've ever been to Blacksburg, Virginia, it is beautiful. I mean, the campus of Virginia Tech itself, the surrounding area itself, is beautiful.
How many kids between, I guess, the ROTC and the rest? I mean, I guess all of Virginia Tech. How many kids were
So
at
there's
Virginia Tech?
I'm going to throw out a number. I think I always heard there was like 33,000 undergrad
Okay.
at Virginia Tech. And of that 33,000, maybe 1,100 are in the Corps.
Okay.
So it's quite a difference, obviously, from, cadet size to civilian size. But it was never the relationship between the civilians and the cadets. It was really one of the more surprising things, because it's just such a common occurrence, right? So it's not like you're walking around in uniform, you're getting like weird eyes, and people are like, who the fuck's this guy? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It was normal because, we have cadets who played on club teams, or they were in fraternities, they were in sororities, and had civilian friends. So it wasn't like an us versus them mentality, except in the wintertime we had a cadet versus civilian snowball fight. That was a thing. That was the only time. But other than that, like, it was like, oh, cool, like, you're in the Corps, I'm not, but like, that didn't matter. Like, that didn't mean that it was like, ooh, you guys go sit over there and like we'll go hang out over here. Like, there was a lot of intermingling, and I like that a lot. And that's not always the same on other senior military school campuses and other campuses in general where there's ROTC offered. It's kind of a odd relationship, if you will.
Yeah, that's good that you guys were able to mingle with, I guess, the regular college students, and that there was no like, I guess I'm better than you, or like, me versus mentality. I feel that's a solid culture to have. In regards to getting into Virginia Tech, what was that a challenge?
Yeah. So for me, I was not. I'm not going to try to pretend that I was, the brainiac. I was not a good student, and so I went in applying to Virginia Tech, basically admitting that this was a reach school. Norwich was a safety school. I went all or nothing, man. I went Norwich was safety, Virginia Tech was reach. I was like, we're, go big or go home. And I talked to my buddy who was, in the Corps, and he pointed me in the direction of some of the people that were sitting on the admissions. And, I kind of said, sir, like, can I sit down? It was a retired lieutenant colonel from the Virginia militia, actually, who used to be a instructor for the Corps. And I said, hey, sir, like, honestly, I'm just looking for, a flat out answer. Like, should I even bother applying? And he's looking at my file and he's looking at me. He's like, what do you mean should you even bother? I was like, well, sir, like, I don't know if I'm competitive enough. And he goes, well, you never know unless you put it out there. All right. I was like, yeah, sir. I mean, that's a good way of putting it. And he goes, yeah, I would put in an application. He's like, I don't see a reason why, you shouldn't. He goes, I'm not gonna lie to you. Is it the best application I've ever seen, based off a GPA, really was the outstanding thing. I mean, it wasn't terrible. I had a 3.0 in high school, which, isn't the greatest. It's not horrible, but when you look at the average GPA of, accepted students at Virginia Tech, 3.0 is really low. And he goes, look, man, it's not the best, but send it. That's really the best. Just
give it a shot. You don't know if you don't try.
Yeah. He said, I would suggest, if you are dead set on coming to the school, to, up your chances. Do you plan on applying early decision? I said, yes, sir. if I get accepted, I'm in. So I will apply early decision, which is like that binding, like you get accepted, you're in, no questions asked. He goes, okay, that's going to help you a lot too. And he basically ended and said, well, I wish you luck. Hope to see you down the road. And I said, yeah, yes, sir. Thank you. Put in the application, did my essays, and I found out early December. It was an early Christmas gift in 2012. Yeah, 2012.
Yeah, 2012.
Yeah, 2012 that I got accepted, and that was him. No one was more surprised than my mom. She goes, wow. Wants you to apply to Harvard.
Yeah.
Kind of luck. No, okay. My poor mother, I put her through the ringer trying to get me to do my homework in high school. But yeah, and next thing I know, I'm graduating high school and getting shipped off to Virginia Tech in August for New Cadet Week, which...
How was that? What does New Cadet Week mean?
It's basically just like your welcome to the Corps, man, woman. Guys and girls, like it's your welcome to the Corps. You're gonna learn.
Is there any hazing that goes on?
No. So Virginia Tech really took a hard stance on hazing. Does it happen? Yes, absolutely, it happens. I mean any military universe or organization, any kind of ROTC, you have to. I should preference this before I make it sound like every single military organization or anything at all is like, the devil because of hazing. Like, for safety precautions and reasonings, the guidelines and the where am I trying to think of here? The guidelines and the rules about hazing are so like wow, I'm at a loss. God, what am I looking? Ambiguous. I don't. Where's my coffee at? All right. Are so ambiguous and are very vague in order to encompass more actions, because as people get smarter, they try to find loopholes.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know if for people who don't know this, even if you willingly partake in an action, if that action is considered hazing, even if you testify and say, no, I wanted to do this, the people who are in charge of the event would still get in trouble.
Really?
Yep. Even if you were like, nope, I at no point felt threatened. Did it hurt? Did it suck? Like, yeah, whatever. Like, welcome to the world. I get it. I wanted to do it. I did it. I have no regrets. I have no, whatever. In the court of law, UCMJ, which is the Uniform Code of Military Justice, or in civilian law, guilty.
Wow.
Doesn't matter.
Wow.
Right. But you know what? I mean, you need to have that kind of protection there, because I'll tell you, there definitely would have been people who were just like, would take it too far, or who, had they not have, the reins, and that's a shame, but that's why those implications have to be there. But I mean, yeah, you get, you do push-ups, you get impossible tasks to do with impossible time hacks or like time standards to make. And it's like, it's to test your stress, man. Like that's all it really is. It was a bigger mind game than it was physical. And that's, I mean, not to like bleed into like, further questions, but like, that's what I've realized about the Army is it's all a mind game, and your mental resiliency, your mental toughness, and your ability to overcome stress and obstacles will carry you a hell of a lot farther when your body's tired, your muscles are sore, your feet are killing you, like you've been up for 24 hours, over 24 hours, and your mind just keeps saying, we're going to keep going, we're going to keep going, we're going to keep going.
Because when you're in that position, you don't have a choice, right?
Exactly. And that's really a lot of the schools that, guys will go to, anywhere like SEALs, Special Forces, any of those schools, like, is it a physical behemoth? Absolutely. But a lot of those guys mentally just say, no, I can't do it. I don't want to do it. But they can keep pushing out those push-ups. They can keep cranking out those pull-ups, but their mind just says, yeah, but I don't want to. I don't want to do it. And they quit. Yeah. And that's probably the biggest lesson I've learned is your mind can make or break your success in the military.
Yeah.
Anywhere. I'll say anywhere. But for me, and obviously because that's my life, your mind is the key to your success or the key to your downfall.
I
You
mean,
don't take care of it.
now let me ask you this, with you saying your mind is kind of your biggest key to success, which I totally agree with. Your mind's going to carry, your mind's going to make you or break you, I mean,
Right.
that I feel like that's a whole separate discussion. But I mean, when it gets down to like, when we worked at ShopRite together, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was a couple of guys who would come in who were vets who were at the VA because of their PTSD regularly,
Mm-hmm.
and one
Right.
of them I remember specifically, he came out of the army. I can't remember when. I can't remember all the details. He got himself a really good job because he was in college. He had his degree. Yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
And then his PTSD started to get the best of him. He started drinking, lost his job, lost his money. Became addicted to drugs. Yada yada yada. And I remember him telling me that his mind, like, it's sad to say it because I actually don't think this person is even any longer alive, because he was facing some serious mental health issues. But I remember him saying to me one day in ShopRite, he came in, he was drunk, he was like, I think all out of his mind.
Right.
Like, bought a pack of cigarettes, and I just looked at him. I said, I was like, "You doing all right, Pat?" And he's like, "My mind's killing me, man." He goes, "My mind is literally breaking me apart." Gave me the
Yeah.
money, walked off, never saw him again after
Yeah.
that day.
Yeah. I'm also gonna tie that into a lot of issues that surround the military in terms of how the military or the government takes care of veterans and how they take care of those who are in the military. If you're like me and you're in the infantry, the culture of the infantry, it's a bunch of type A, door kicking, badass, pardon my French, motherfuckers who like we're bulletproof, right? Like, we love to think we're invincible. We love to think we're Captain America. Like, that's just the culture because we're just those kind of people, just a bunch of type A meatheads, right? And so unfortunately, when inevitably, when someone is faced with, they come back from a deployment and they have PTSD, or they had a death in the family, and with the deployment going on and the stress of that, the stress of the funeral, everything else, they go into depression. Everyone loves to clam up. No one likes to talk about it. No one wants to admit that they're fighting an internal battle, right? Because other people look at them and like, dude, you just spent like 12 months getting shot at and like dropping guys, like it was nothing. You know what I mean? Like, you just went to war, and like you're gonna tell me now that you're like upset because your dad passed away, like, or you can't handle it. Like, what do you mean you can't handle it, dude? You've been doing this for how long, right? And so the stigma kind of gets put up, like, you don't talk about that. Oh, PTSD? Nah, you don't bring that up. If you want to get that handled, you do it behind closed doors. Don't let anybody know. And I think that's where we have the issue, like you're talking about the gentleman with Pat. There is a lack of, I don't want to say awareness in general, or awareness period, but there's a lack of awareness to the resources and all the negative hype behind admitting that you need help. And it's unfortunate that that's the kind of culture that can get created for those in and out of the military, while they're in or after they retire, is the negative stigma behind needing help. And I think if there was more done to communicate to our veterans and to our, active duty, National Guard, reservist, whomever, that everyone sometimes needs a hand. Sometimes someone, you got to reach your hand out and somebody has to take it and pick you back up, and that's okay. Doesn't mean you're bad at your job. Doesn't mean you're weak. Doesn't mean you're incapable. Doesn't mean you're incompetent. Just means you're human. You would see a major change in our veterans and our current service personnel today.
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah. I think that was very well said. And I mean, I agree. Obviously, I think I, I agree. Yeah. I mean, it's a tough situation, you know. And I mean,
Hmm.
this guy Pat. I mean, he was always at the VA, but I think I remember him helping out a lot with like meetings that they did, and you know, like
Hmm.
kind of being a resource for the other guys there that were also going through it. And
Right.
you know, he heavily dedicated himself to really trying to, I mean, get himself, not only just get himself right, but try and help other people get themselves right, you know, because
Yeah.
he always said to me, you know, it's a daily battle, man. It's a daily battle.
Hmm.
um you know. And I mean, with that being it's a heavy topic, you know.
I
It's
know we're dropping, like, we're opening Pandora's box and like opening up cans of worms. Like, this is supposed to be about fitness and health and wellness. We just tackled mental health and
yeah, I mean, that's
everything else in
yeah.
acceptances and college life. Anything else? Do we want to, like, should we try to conquer the meaning of life right now, or are we just gonna stick with the
Well, all
usual here?
right. So let's go for one last question in regards to, you know, your time with the RTC, and then we'll move into a little bit of your
Fixing Social
exercise.
Security.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man. So what the last question, and we can make it quick, is what helped keep you motivated to get you through your 4 years at Virginia Tech? Because I imagine there were some times where it was challenging. You know, I'm sure there were times where I mean, you know, maybe you wanted to go out and party, but you couldn't because you had to be up at 4 o'clock the next morning for PT. I mean, maybe you did go out and party, but you were still up at 4 o'clock the next morning for
Yeah,
PT. You
no,
know, I mean,
I never did that. I can thankfully say that I was not somebody who would go out and
um,
drinking and then wake up the next morning to PT, because I'd have been miserable.
but
I mean,
what helped get
for
you through? You
me,
know.
so what kept me motivated, honestly, I was like, I mean, this is gonna sound really sad, but I was like, dude, it's either you're gonna be in the military and you be an officer, or you're gonna take your history degree and do nothing. Like,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to like downplay history majors. Like, it's a great major. Like, I loved history, and that was something I was passionate about. And, you know, somebody who wasn't good at school, and for somebody who was good at history, and I ended up also double majoring in psychology and society and warfare. But I mean, you know, 9 times out of 10, like, unless you're like an engineering degree or like an architecture degree or like a degree that somebody finds to be like that you make a lot of money doing. I'm just kidding. Like, you know, that's something that's going to get you a job right out of college. The first question is, oh, what are you going to do with that? And I can't tell you how many times that was a follow-up question to, what's your degree, history, what are you going to do with that? Oh, I'm an RTC. And then everyone was like, oh, good. As if that was a relief to hear that, like,
Yeah.
you have a backup plan,
Yeah.
right? Like, you're going to go to the military. But I mean, it was that, but really, I say that more of a joke. Is like, my main motivation was the fact that, like I said before, that I have had so many members of my family in the military, that this was me just. It was time for me to pick up the mantle, and it was time for me to do my time and do my turn. You
Mm.
know, and that was really the biggest thing. If it wasn't just me failing myself, it was me failing my family, and that was really the motivation to just, you know, keep waking up on those early mornings. You know, do 2 more push-ups, do 2 more pull-ups, like, keep running, just keep doing whatever, because
Mm.
I have that in the back of my mind.
Mm.
And that was really the biggest source of motivation was my
Absolutely.
family.
Cool. Cool. I respect
Mm.
it. I like it. I like that answer. All right. So now let's move into so I mean, you're in the military, right? You've got to stay in shape. I mean, yeah, I mean, I assume when you guys go, you know, when you guys do your ruck walks or, you know, anything like that, like, you're carrying what is it, like 80 pounds?
Yeah, it'll vary depending on what we're doing. I usually like to go heavier, just because that's just a better workout, man.
It's just who you are, right? So, but
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about your routine, your exercise routine
Hmm.
while in college compared to your exercise routine now. Do you have to take it more seriously? Do you take it more seriously, or do you take it not as serious? You know, what do you do? Are you lifting? Like, let's hear about how Aaron Reed stays in shape.
So how I stay in shape, to start off in college was a lot more cardio, because that's what I was naturally good at. I still do cardio now, but um, for me, like I didn't really put on weight until my senior year of college and like my first year in the army. Like honestly, graduating college, I was probably like 150, 155 pounds soaking wet.
Mm,
That was pretty small. Because I really didn't, I hadn't learned the tricks and the tools and the necessary means to work out and not burn everything, but like refuel as well. And that's something that I got late to the game on. Now I'm sitting at 175 pounds. Sorry, I was like, yeah. Now I'm sitting at 175 pounds and can run faster and farther and can, do more repetitions and workouts that I could do in college, which, you know, is the whole point, right? To improve. Taking it more seriously, yes, I definitely took it more seriously in the Army than I did in ROTC, because in ROTC, right, like you're kind of in the mindset of like, I'm still in college and like these are all my peers, everybody around me, all these cadets, they're just cadets. Take off
mm,
these uniforms and we don't mean shit.
mm,
Not that's a very harsh way of putting it, but like there's nothing tied to this.
mm,
Once you get in the military, in the Army, for me, and as a platoon leader in charge of 36 soldiers, it was, I'm doing this to set the example for them, because if I don't do it, they're not going to do it. And I am responsible to train them, mentor them, develop them, and get them ready to do their job wherever that may be, wherever their country calls, right? And if
mm,
they fail to do that, who is the first person they look at? Me.
mm.
So it kept me in check, and it, by keeping myself in check, it helps me keep them in check. But um, now for me, I don't lift weights. That is not something that I ever got into. I did a little bit. I worked out with my buddy when I was still at Fort Benning. My buddy Will Diaz, shout out.
Hmm.
And I don't know, like it didn't really fit in my jive. I don't really know how to describe it. I was always a good runner, right? And my metabolism is so damn fast that like for me to like put on extra weight and to like try to refuel everything that I had just burned, I was taking mass gainer and I was like whole milk like crazy, like just to keep weight on. Forget about making sure I got my macros and my micros like, really down and dirty. I was just trying to put fat and calories into my body just so I
Mm,
wouldn't lose weight.
mm,
And I was like, you know what? Like, hey, do I wish that I could look like Steve Rod? I mean, I am Steve Rod, but like,
mm,
do I wish that I could look like, that's just kidding. Do I wish that I could look like, Chris Evans and Captain America? Like, yeah, absolutely. But here's the thing um, that I used to joke. I still joke with guys that I work with. I don't know if you've ever seen the show Green Arrow.
Yes, I have.
That man, Stephen Amell, lifts no weights.
Really? That's surprising. That's
That
very
is all
surprising.
body weight workouts. I've seen his workout routine. He is very big on body weight workouts and parkour. And that is how he's attained the body that he has. And anybody, right? If you just see that man like shirtless, just whatever,
Mm,
without making that sound creepy. If you see that man shirtless, you're like, damn, that guy probably lifts like a fiend in the gym, just throwing weights around. And he's like, no, pull-ups, push-ups,
that's true,
different,
man.
mixing up body weight. And that's what I like to do. Like, can I go out there and deadlift 500 pounds of, pure iron and then go, throw around, 350 pounds on the bench? No, but for being 6 foot, 175 pounds, I can deadlift a little over 300. Then I can go run 2 miles in like 11 minutes.
Mm, yeah.
So like that was the biggest thing for me. It was like, I can't put on too much weight. And like, yeah, would I look really cool to be like 250 pounds and like be like, Chris Evans? Sure. But go ask that man or go ask anybody else that size with that kind of body composition to run
Mm,
2 miles, 3 miles, 4 miles, 5 miles, which is something that my job calls for.
mm,
They
that's
might
true.
do it, but like they're huffing and puffing and they're like ready to collapse by the end of it. And like, yeah, I'm tired in the end, but I'm like, all right, like cool.
Well,
Next.
do you have anyone that's, I mean, it's funny what you say about the guy from Green Arrow, because I remember seeing him and thinking to myself, like, that dude must fucking deadlift like 600 pounds, you know, because there are
Right.
guys who are like him who, you know, deadlift crazy numbers, right? But I feel it all comes down to preference, you know. It all comes down to preference.
Yeah.
You feel you want what you really need, right? In your case, I feel it's
Yeah.
more what you need to do as opposed to what you want to do. Obviously, you're going to do
Yeah.
the exercises and exercise and things that are going to keep you happy and still keep you
Mm-hmm.
sane. So the gym is, and working out is not a chore for you, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but it's somebody with who does some shoots for us sometimes. His name's Rob. He's crazy jacked, right? And he's
Mm-hmm.
strong as shit. He's
Yeah.
insanely strong. Rob, if you're listening, shout out to you, buddy. But he
Comment, like, subscribe.
doesn't lift. I mean, you will never see this
Yeah.
dude pick up weights. And like when he does, he's immediately to the 120-pound dumbbells. But like when he's in the gym, he's doing this thing called animal flow, which have you ever heard of animal flow?
I have not, no.
Honestly, man, might be something you might want to look into.
Okay.
It's the way I would describe it is another form of kind of yoga.
Okay.
But I think the whole idea behind it is like, honestly, I don't even want to butcher it. I would say for you to look it up, because it's cool. It's cool. Like the whole idea behind it is cool. And it's like, it's all about taking like basically like 10 movements, you know,
Mm-hmm.
mastering each 10 movements and then flowing them all together as one. So the whole idea is you master these movements, and then by the end of the 40 minutes of your class, you know, your animal flow class, you should be able
Mm-hmm.
to do this entire animal flow, and it's using your entire body. And I mean, some of the people that are doing this are crazy, crazy, crazy ripped. So that, who knows, maybe that might be something
Yeah.
that could help you, you know, especially if you're running a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I think bottom line is, I don't want to make this like too general, because I actually want people to get something out of it by listening to, you know, if they're looking for advice and stuff. I don't want to just put a blanket statement and say, well, just do whatever works for you, man. Like, or like do what is necessary. Like yes, you have to do what works for you, or you know, do what you need to do to achieve whatever desired goal you have. But at the end of the day, like I want to like get away from the myth that like in order to look a certain way, you have to lift weights. Like if you're not picking up 500 pounds in the gym, like forget it, dude. You probably look skinny and you probably look weak as fuck. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, excuse my French, I can't help it. But like if you're somebody who doesn't like going to the gym, but hey, you can crank out some push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, dips, what have you, and like have a proper diet and, you know, get enough sleep, eat your vegetables, or, you know, do whatever you need to do, that'll work. Great. You know, and I think that is something that I think really, I don't want to like sound like I'm talking business, but that is where I see the niche for Voletics, because it kind of ties into, second plug, spheres of influence, because what we wanted to do was to encompass multiple different kinds of people, right? Where I think one of the shortcomings of sites that are, you know, in existence today is, what do we define as, if you go to the gym, the end result is that you're a jacked bodybuilder, and like that's everyone's desired result. But obviously, you know what I mean? Like that's not the case for everybody. And being able to,
that's the stigma. That's what people,
right.
That's what people
Right.
think. And that's, you know, it's what steers a lot of girls away from the gym, because,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I know a lot of girls that who won't touch weights simply because they think they're going to end up looking like Jay Cutler or Ronnie Coleman, you know, like,
right.
It's you're right. It's not the case. And,
mm-hmm. And I think that's what Voletics can do. And I think by the fact that you guys are encompassing so many different your models and your athletes and people who have different kinds of niches and routines, that you're going to kind of blow the doors wide open off its hinges about a lot of these fallacies and a lot of these stigmas about fitness in general. That if you go to the gym, you're a gym rat, you're a meathead, and you just use steroids and get jacked. But if you are told to run, you're going to pass out in a half a mile.
Absolutely.
Right? And I think that's the niche that is going to be the driving force for you guys. And that's why I love that you guys are encompassing as much as you possibly can, because then you can encompass a lot more people. Because, I'm going to admit, if you sent me to the gym right now alone, like, I would have no idea. Like, I could do some workouts, but like, I don't know how much weight I need per set, per rep. Okay, I did this workout. What workout should I go to next? What muscle is this going to work? Like, I look like such a nerd when I'm at the gym, and like, it sucks. And that's part of the reason why I don't go, but also it's because I know what works for me, and I'm happy with what I've been able to do. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
But like,
well, I appreciate you saying that, man. And I mean, that's kind of what even though Spheres of Influence was 3 years ago, like, I'm still trying to maintain that overall message, it's funny because, like, the overall message is of what we're currently doing is like, do what works for you, right? But here are a few options that might work for you, so that's why we're bringing it. We've got all the different perspectives. If you look at Madison, if you go on our page right now and if you look at Madison's workout compared to Kristen's workout, two very different style workouts, different tempos, different equipment. Like, they're both at home, but like, they're very different in my opinion. And it could attract two different people. The workout I posted, different. Nick, different. The workouts Ray's posting, different, so I appreciate you saying that. And I do agree. I think that I hope for us to, really make that splash with sharing all these different perspectives.
Absolutely. Because you're not siphoning off a certain group of people. You don't stand on a platform and be like, well, we're only in it for people who want to build a lot of muscle, or people who just want to lose weight, or people who want to get better in cardio. It's just like, no. We talk health and wellness and fitness, whatever that may be. Right? Like, you don't hone in or concentrate on a certain topic. And I think that's what makes Voletics so welcoming and inviting, is the fact that, you don't close doors off to certain people. Like, oh, if you don't go to the gym, you probably won't like us. You don't run marathons, you probably won't like us. You're like, do you work out? Do you eat food? Excellent. You'll love us. And that's really that's the truth.
That's the goal, man. That's the goal, is to build that community, because at the end of the day, we're just trying to move. I mean, the hardest, I guess the benefit for you, right, is with this whole quarantine situation going on, you don't have a gym to miss.
No, our gyms are closed, man. So I am doing my own at-home workouts. So good thing I have my pull-up bar and my
that's what I'm saying.
My door.
You don't really lift weights, so you don't necessarily have a gym to miss. So I mean, that is the big benefit.
But I'm gonna pull that plug in. No excuse.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that doesn't freaking matter. See there, I censored myself. I was good. Like, do pull-ups, do push-ups, do sit-ups. There's so many different body workouts that you can do that are still going to break your muscles down and that are still going to get you a good workout. Are you going to get, the same kind of pump or the same kind of, jacked feeling? Do enough pull-ups? Yeah, you will. Believe me.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like,
now's the best time, in my opinion, for people to really try and step out of their comfort zone with all those types of exercises.
Here is my this is gonna be my plug for a workout. It's called the Sally, and it was given to me by one of my squad leaders, Jacob Gillich. Throw that shout out to him. In order for however long it takes you, start off by doing 100 pull-ups. Doesn't have to be all at once. Like, it can be like 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, however, but you do 100 pull-ups. Then you move to 200 push-ups. And then you finish off with 300 squats. And if you really want to do 400 repetitions of any ab exercise, do that. And if you finish that, if you try to do it as fast as you possibly can and not, do 10 pull-ups 1 hour and then do 10 pull-ups next hour, if you try to do it as fast as you possibly can and complete it, Try and tell me you didn't get a good workout. I will not believe you.
Yeah, I mean that's
No weights required.
intimidating just from looking at it.
Come to
Now,
Sally.
what if somebody can't do a pull-up, right? What if somebody hits you with that argument of I can't do a
Yeah.
pull-up?
Okay. So this is one thing that I've been working on with, I want to say because she's downstairs. My wife is working on pull-ups right now. Do an extended hang. You can just let your arms hang. I'm doing the motions. I realize you can't see me, so they're kind of weird. Just hang from the bar, or keep yourself in the up position, if you will, for as long as you possibly can, and then lower yourself. If you need to jump to get up there, like that's the whole point. But as long as you're making the attempt to either stay in extended hang or extended flex hang, or in the chicken wing, your arms against your sides, because you're in that your chin over the bar position, and hold that. And when you get tired, release. Or when you can't hold anymore, release, rest. Go back and do it again, rest. To help out your back if you need to, next time you're doing push-ups, separate your arms or separate your hands, push them out from each other. That's going to work your back a lot more. If you want to do your chest, put it shoulder to shoulder. Or your tricep shoulder to shoulder. You really want to hit your chest, diamonds. Or a girl's best friend, hit them diamonds. There are ways to achieve fitness goals without having to go to the gym and picking up the dumbbells and the barbells, and like, I'm a huge proponent of that because, from somebody who doesn't go to the gym, someone who is always told, like, you have to go to the gym to get fit and get big and get strong. I love being the example of being like, bull. Like, that's not true. Like, here's how you can get in shape and get strong and look good by never picking up a weight in your life.
And you're doing it, buddy. You're doing it.
What can I say?
Let me ask you this.
The man for the people.
How's the diet?
The diet. So I am a huge fan of food, as you definitely know.
You live in the Midwest. I mean, how could you not be?
So fried chicken. No, I'm kidding. I've been divulging into cookbooks a lot. I love Gordon Ramsay. He's one of my favorites. I love to impersonate him and like get mad in the kitchen for no reason, just to make my wife angry and laugh. And so I've gotten a good sense of how to cook and what ingredients I can use. But now I'm getting more into the science of cooking. The ability to open up my fridge, my cupboard, my pantry, and go, okay, here are the spices I have. Here are my proteins, my carbs, my starches. What can I throw together in a pot, pan, whatever tray? What can I throw in there and make a meal, make something to eat? For me, I personally, I probably should. I don't really count my macros, my micros. I try to eat a balanced diet. I stay away from fast food. Maybe like once a month while I eat fast food. I'm not like the kind of guy that like I avoid sugar at all costs, or I'm gluten free, or like I'm really, the best way to put it is I'm an everything in moderation kind of guy. And so far, I haven't run into any issues. Maybe if I like cut out sugar, like cut out gluten, I'd all of a sudden, become jacked and be like on America's Next Top Model, even though it's not for guys. But like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't. But for me, it's you do your workouts. You try to have a balanced diet with fruits and vegetables, proteins, carbs, and honestly, like we're ourselves when it comes to food, we're pretty good bullshit filters, right? Like every single person that goes and consumes food either has wow, I ate really healthy today, or they go to like fast food, they're like, man, I probably shouldn't be eating this, but oh man, I really want it. So like if multiple times throughout the day you're eating something that you're like, oof, man, like I feel guilty, you're like, this is a cheat day.
Probably shouldn't be eating.
You probably should be in it, right? And then if you're like, oh man, that kale shake was disgusting, it's like, good for you, like you're eating healthy. That's the kind of like the joke I like to make is we're pretty good bullshit filters. We know we like to lie to ourselves, but we always know when we're like, instead of that apple pie, she just had a regular apple. You know what I mean?
And
Like,
now let me ask you this, right? Because I like that you're saying that we're great bullshit filters, because
yeah.
we I mean we all do it to ourselves, you know. Like my biggest weakness, you know, being full transparency, is my diet. Has been my diet for the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the times when I do eat things, like, I do have that perspective. Now let me ask you this, you know, a lot of people will say, oh, it's so hard to put down the pie. It's so hard to not get that shit when I'm at the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
Think it's really that hard to not get it, or is that just the bullshit filter? Because I call it
No, I'll tell you
bullshit
this:
filter.
you don't want it.
Yeah.
That you if you're going to go to the gym and you're going to work out and you want to get results but you don't see it, but when you go to the grocery store, when you think of food, your first thought is fast food, processed foods, foods with high fat, high, trans fat, just garbage for your body. But you keep sitting there eating that food and go, I don't understand, like, I go to the gym 7 days a week and I lift, but like I still feel sluggish, or I still feel bloated, or I don't feel good, but I'm lifting. You don't want it. That's the bottom line. Like, if you know it's wrong, like, is it wrong to rob a bank? Yeah. But it would be cool to get some money, right? Is it,
Yeah.
wrong to eat fast food 365, 7 days a week? Yeah. But those Wendy's fries taste great though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to be an asshole and say like, oh, like if you, eat fast food or you eat unhealthy, you're a piece of shit, right? But
It's about being real with yourself, self-awareness.
exactly.
You know,
Like,
it's the
should I
whole.
have, right? Like, oh, I had Wendy's last night for dinner. So does that mean I should do McDonald's for breakfast because I went to Wendy's yesterday? You know what I mean? Like, if people would take the time and the effort and just honestly a little bit of just sucking it up, to plan out, like, if it's a matter of you don't have things to eat, plan your shit out, right? Like, oh, I never know what to eat for lunch. Well, plan it.
Google it,
Like,
look it up on YouTube.
yeah, Google it. Like,
Type in
have a
healthy,
plan.
type in healthy meal prep ideas on YouTube.
Yeah.
There's 25 videos that pop up that give you 15 suggestions per video.
I taught myself to cook through the Tasty app.
Yep.
I
Perfect.
downloaded the Tasty
Yep.
app when I got to Fort Benning, and it gives you the nutritional value of everything. So I knew which meals that I could eat certain times more often, yada, yada, yada. And I graduated from there and started going off of cookbooks with Gordon. I love Gordon Ramsay, like I said, or Matty Matheson, who's this crazy Canadian guy. I love him. But
Vice,
like,
right?
yeah, like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, love the guy. Like, it's just, the bottom line is, I made the I'm not trying to, like, when I say I'm just saying from my personal experience, not to like put myself on a pedestal. I made the conscious choice to say, I don't know how to cook. I'm a brand new second lieutenant living alone in a house on Fort Benning, Georgia. I have Zaxby's right across the street. I have a DFAC, or a dining facility, right down the road. I can have Zaxby's every day for dinner if I so chose to, every day for lunch if I so chose to, or I can learn how to cook. And I learned how to cook.
Save money, eat better.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, it's a conscious choice. It's a constant effort. And this all circles back around to the first thing we said about mental resiliency.
It's all your mind, man. It's
a mindset. Exactly. Like, the choice to work out, the choice to eat healthy, the choice to do anything. And some people got it. Some people don't think they have it because they tend to lean towards like the guilty side, like they tend to lean towards like the easier way. All it takes is to just put yourself in a vulnerable position, put yourself in the uncomfortable position. Like, go to the gym. I don't want to go. Just fucking go. Like, that's really the bottom line. Is like, I don't want to go to the gym. We'll just do it anyway.
Yeah.
I don't want a salad for dinner. I don't want chicken and rice. I want to go to Wendy's for a Baconator, which I love, by the way. But I'm just saying, like, have that chicken and rice. Just do it.
Yeah.
Don't go to Wendy's.
Yeah. But I mean, I think it's important as well. A lot of the time, like, people hear diet, or people hear, I need to eat well, and
and they're like, oh my God, I can have a kale
like,
sandwich for breakfast today.
Like
a spoonful of peanut butter.
I mean, exactly. It's like, it doesn't need to be that restrictive, and it doesn't need to, you don't need to hate your life and what you're eating, but I think it's important that people just do the research, like I said. Look up that YouTube. Look it up on YouTube. I mean, everything I know, all my knowledge, everything I've ever learned in regards to the gym and nutrition,
If I
internet.
had $1 for every single time that I talk to people about their diet and like with fitness, and they're like, well, I don't want to eat, chicken breast and rice every meal. And I was like, you're lazy.
Mm,
Like, good on you for going to work out. But when it comes to why you don't do it as much or what you eat, you're lazy because what you just said, you don't do the research.
mm.
Is chicken and rice the only way to pack on protein and get carbs and like clean fat? No, it's not.
It's not,
But
and it's not sustainable.
exactly. And that person's just not doing the research and not putting in the time and effort to figure out what they should be putting into their body, what other meals they can make for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's the time and the effort is the bottom line.
Mm, absolutely.
It's easy to say, oh, chicken and rice, or it's easy to say, well, that's all there is, because
Mm,
you don't look it up. Like, yeah, it's kind of silly, but that's really the bottom line. It's just not taking the time and not putting in the effort. And
mm.
you can say that about a lot of things in life, but
I
what
mean,
do I
I've
know?
I've always liked to say the gym's, your health, your mental and your physical health is kind of a big kind of building block, I guess, for your success. I mean,
Yeah.
if your mental health is off, like we said with the mental resiliency, if your mental health is off, everything else is going to be off. If your physical health is
Mm-hmm.
off, like you're going to be tired. You're not going to want to
Yeah.
get up early in the morning. Like, you notice a difference in everything when you prioritize your physical and your mental well-being. And it's like when you
Yeah.
prioritize your physical well-being, the mental well-being kind of comes, it kind of
Exactly.
comes full circle.
Exactly. If you look good and you think you look good, you have a better positive image about yourself, which means you project yourself with more confidence. You act a certain way, you look a certain way, and that makes you to act a certain way and behave a certain way. It's all interconnected. It's all interrelated.
Mm,
Mental health and physical health are huge for the individual psyche.
mm,
It's huge.
mm,
Forget everything else.
mm. It is.
Mental health and physical health will move mountains
It
for
is,
people.
man. And it's for myself, it's like when my diet is off, I feel it, right? And I don't just feel it
Yeah,
physically.
sluggish,
I feel it in
bloated.
my, well, I even feel it in my, with my mindset, right? Like I don't want to get up, sit at my computer and do the work that needs to be done. Like I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
get up and go work out. Like I don't, when I feel like shit because of the food I've been eating and the things I've been putting in my body, I just simply don't want to. You're not
Right.
getting me up to do anything
Mm-hmm.
compared to, like, 2 days ago I woke up, fasted for a couple hours. First thing I had was a smoothie. Then I had
Mm-hmm.
like a really protein heavy meal, and then had whatever my mom made for dinner that day, and I felt great the whole day because I was feeding my body right.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about, sorry, can you tell I'm getting more coffee, or is that, can you not hear my, welcome to my ASMR video? Please excuse me for a second as I pour coffee and not use the restroom, as I've been accused of doing on microphones before. Yeah, I mean, in the end, and at the end of the day, the most important thing to realize is it's your decision.
Yeah.
It is your actions. It is your choice.
Yeah.
Do you work out? Do you eat right? Do you get enough sleep? Do you, I don't know, what have you? It's always your choice. It always will be. And nobody can take that away from you. And at the end of the day, if you're not happy with your physical fitness, your nutrition, your mental health, you got to look in the mirror, because it's up to you. It has to come from you.
Mm.
I'm not saying it doesn't mean you're not going to need help, but you have to initiate.
I agree. I completely agree, man. I completely agree. It's it all comes down to whether or not you want it. It all comes down to what's deep inside, really. I got 2 or 3 more questions for you, Aaron,
Yeah.
that we can,
And we've digressed a lot, but yeah.
run through pretty quick, and they're not so much related to I guess the physical side of things, kind of going back to the Army, and the reason I'm kind of stirring, back and forth between the Army and the physical and mental health thing is because I feel the two kind of very much intertwine.
Yes.
The two are very important to, pull together. And I feel, I love your perspective. So what would you say to someone who is just joining the
Yeah. This hits home. Make sure you know what the fuck you're doing. And I mean that very seriously. Not learn every ins and outs of the Army and what your job's going to be and what your responsibilities are going to be, but know what you're getting yourself into. One thing I've really noticed is that the Army has turned into I didn't really want to go to college. I didn't really want to get a job. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I just said, yeah, the Army looks cool. I guarantee you they'll be getting kicked out within the year for lack of physical fitness, DUI, something stupid. Like, I'm telling you, for people who want to join the Army, not to talk badly about recruiters, but they got their quotas, man. All right? Like, you need to go to impartial sources to figure out the best information about what the Army is going to be. And if that's not for you, that's fine. Don't worry about it. But I guarantee you that if you just don't do the research and you enlist and, sign the papers and you show up at basic training, you're going to hate yourself starting minute one. And the resentment's only going to grow. And so by the time that you get out of basic training and you get assigned to your first unit, you're already fed up and you're like, I want to get out. I'm done. This sucks. And your leadership ain't going to care. I had that case. I had a kid who showed up, 18 years old, born after 9/11, which blew my mind that I was in an age where there were kids that were joining the Army post 9/11, And he was like, he came to my office one time with my platoon sergeant. He said, "Sir, I'm done." And I was like, "I'm sorry. Who are you talking to?" He goes, "You, sir, I'm done." And I was like, "You're done? What do you mean you're done? With your task? Is that what you're telling me? You're done with your job, or you're done with your task that was handed out today by, your platoon sergeant?" He goes, "No, sir, I'm done with the Army." And I was like, "Well, guess what, man? You signed a contract. The Army owns you for 3 years. I don't care. The Army doesn't care. You raised your right hand and said that you would support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, for 3 years."
Wow.
But that's what we see is people who just think the military is like a get out of jail card or like this looks cool and easy. And they get there and they go, damn, this ain't anything like I was told it was going to be. Or this doesn't look like the movies. This doesn't look like Call of Duty.
They
That's
think
my advice.
it's go and sign this contract and be able to get out of it in a few months
Dude,
when you're bored of it.
free college, enlistment bonuses. You need to think about what you're doing when you enlist in the Army. Even, whether or not you're infantry, if you're a cook, a mechanic, an infantryman, a field artilleryman, I don't care. It doesn't matter what you are. You need to know what you're getting yourself into. Because if you don't, and you act like for lack of better terms, a piece of shit, you only put more work on your coworkers because they have to pick up your slack, and your life's probably going to be a lot more miserable because your superiors are going to really, lack of better terms, dick you down because you don't give a shit.
Not only
and they're
that,
going to see it.
But if you end up getting shipped off and you don't want to be there, you're putting not only your own life at risk, but other people's lives at risk, I would assume, right?
Absolutely. So bottom line, if you're thinking about joining the military, you can reach out to James and you can give him my contact information. I'm gladly speak to anybody about any branch because I have people I can put you in touch with across, not just the Army, anywhere. But that is my bottom line up front. Request really is know what you're getting into. And that's really all I can say about it.
And one last and final question. We've talked about mental resiliency, the strength of your mind, how important it is for you to have a strong, mindset going into things, whether it be the gym, your day-to-day life, your, your career, whatever it may be. I feel like that's kind of been the main topic, really, is because really everything we've discussed, I found that it all comes back to your mindset. So let's leave it at a final message of motivation from Mr. Aaron Reed, which you want to
Oh
leave the
man.
people off with today, whatever it may be. However long you want, buddy. The mic is yours.
I already know I'm going to end it with, and you're going to love it as soon as I say it because you're going to know exactly where it's from. But just from the themes that we've talked about today, your mental health and your physical health will set the foundation for your success in life. If you feel like you look good and you feel like you feel good, you are good. And that is going to carry you through your job, your relationships, your ego. And I mean, ego is not in an inflated sense, but just in the psychology term of what your ego is. Through your physical and mental health in a positive manner, those two things stem from your initiative and your decision to be physically fit, to eat a healthy, balanced diet, to get enough sleep, to not do drugs, to, what have you. It is up to you to make that difference. This doesn't mean you can't ask for help, because sometimes you're going to need help. That doesn't mean you failed. It just means you need assistance. That's all it means. But in the end, you need to initiate everything from either asking for help to doing those repetitions to eating the right foods, whatever. And to end, and I know you're going to love it, I always encourage that you just dominate and take it.
I love it, man. I'm truly grateful for the fact that you were able to hop on and do this with me. Real quick, if people want to connect with you or find you on social media, where can they do that? I guess really just Instagram.
Yeah, you can look me up on Facebook, Aaron Reed, AARONREED. Shoot me a message just so I know why you're reaching out to me. Don't just friend request me and be like, I don't know who you are, so I'm not gonna delete you. Just message me on Facebook, no problem. I can give out my email, or really, I don't have an issue with my phone number if you want to shoot me a text. And
that's not an issue either. I'd say
pretty open.
How about Instagram, or do you not? Are you really ever on Instagram? I feel like I rarely see you on it.
I just do it to take in information. Really is what I do it for. You can reach out to me on Instagram. I think it's Aaron Reed. That shows how much I use it. Yeah, if they reach out to you though, you can definitely direct them in my way. I have no issue with that. But I'm going to talk about really anything: the military, fitness, nutrition, whatever. I love to talk, as you could probably tell from this long ass podcast. But always willing to have a conversation with people, lend a hand, give advice, and do whatever I can do to help the world, man.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate it, and as always, thank you for your service and what you do and will one day do and have done for this country. And hopefully next time we do this podcast, do a podcast episode, it can be in person.
Yeah.
But
for now, I appreciate you inviting me to get on. Always love talking with you, man. I always love to hear your ideas and the way that you look at the world, and your goals and your drive with athletics is fantastic. And I wish all the best for you, your team, your models, and your athletes. I've looked forward to seeing your progress and have enjoyed watching it since you guys first started. That goes for everybody involved with athletics.
Appreciate that.
I'd love to get on more podcasts with you. If you need some workout routines or some videos or anything like that, reach out to me. Always happy to send out some material to help anybody out. Cool. Thanks for having me, man. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely, Aaron. We'll talk soon. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.